I invite you to center in, bringing your awareness to your breath in and out. Just noticing the rhythm of your breath as it is, that ebb and flow of life-giving breath. And aware of your breath and held in the notes of Pete's gentle piano, in the sound of my voice as it washes over you, as you notice it or let it go. Let that invitation be that the chattering in your mind will grow quiet. And then begin to listen with curiosity to the voice of your heart. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? And while breathing in and out, become aware of all the generations of the ancestors who have come before you. Those ancestors in your families of birth, in the families of friendship and community, all of those holy ones who have gone before you. Whether you know them or not, they know you. Breathing in and out, become aware of the hope and trust that these ancestors place in you. Breathing in and out, become aware of the presence of the generations to come. Your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, if you have them, but the children of the world, the children who are hungry, who are starving, the children who live in fear, the children who are carefree, whose laughter lights up the world. Feel these generations and the generations to come and their trust and hope in you. have you come to earth? How are you answering the call to co-create a world of compassion, dignity, freedom, love? And come now fully into this present moment. This sacred moment, just as it is. Aware of your breath, aware of the infinite presence of love that is you. And then taking a deeper breath in, a cleansing exhale. Let your eyes open. Let your heart open. Thank you, Pete. So in this softened state, you were given a piece of paper when you came in. Just have it close by. You'll need it in a minute or two. There are manila folders on the benches, so I'm going to ask you to, if you desire, to write. So I'm just going to give you a minute to kind of fumfer around here. Those of you at home, if you have a notebook, scrap of paper, it's not mandatory. It's an invitation. Folks were teasing me at the beginning before the service started as I was putting folders in the back saying, are we having a quiz? We are not. One teacher to another. Yes, there's no quiz. And if it's a quiz, you all pass with flying colors. So just trust that. If you don't have paper, there's more paper in the back and there's more paper here. There should be pens and pencils scattered around in the benches. We do have a little basket in the back. If you need any supplies, wiggle your finger and I'll put John Reith on the task and he'll come and help you out. All right, and this pause is giving you folks at home a chance to run and grab something if you want it. Does anybody else need paper? Okay. So just have it close. Okay, number your paper from 1 to 10. No. I felt like a little bit of laughter would help everybody get oxygen back in your bodies. And we'll come to these slips of paper in just a few moments. I want to start first with a quote by Walt Whitman. Past and present and future are not disjointed, but joined. That was one of the bits that inspired me in the last couple of weeks. And then I heard this quote yesterday by Alexis Pauline Gumbs, who I'm not familiar with, but this was a powerful message. We are the ancestors of a future not yet born. No pressure. Yesterday, I had the gift of spending an hour that I was reluctant, honestly, to spend an hour on Zoom. That to-do list, the chattering of my mind saying, you better sit down and get going on finishing that talk. You've got to get ready to this and that and the other thing. You don't have time to sit and be quiet for an hour looking at a Zoom screen for this beautiful class, which is, of course, exactly why I needed to do it for me in that moment. So I did. That's where I heard the quote, "We are the ancestors of a future not yet born." I also, from One Spirit, came across this passage in their daily thought and reflection this week. From Swami Vivekananda. All love is expansion. All selfishness is contraction. Love is therefore the only law of life. They who love, live. They who are selfish are dying. Therefore, love for love's sake, because it is the law of life, just as you breathe to live. And from Jack Kornfield. Whoever dedicates themselves to developing and embodying awakening in the world is called a bodhisattva. With wisdom and heart, no matter the political changes, the civilizations and empires that rise and fall, there is a stream to enter of dedication, generosity, truthfulness, compassion, wisdom, and loving kindness, all of which is timeless. In times of division and upheaval, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the world's pain. Anybody feeling overwhelmed these days? From the prophet Micah. The Holy One has told you, O people, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. And from John, I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You should also love one another. And when you do this, the world will know you are my friends. The world will know you are my beloveds when you show that you are beloved of each other. We are never apart from our infinite being. We are never apart from the infinite presence of love from which we came, manifested into these physical bodies, and from which we will eventually go, still a presence of love like our beloved friends that we remembered earlier in this service, and all of those beloveds in our own families and circles of friendship and kinship. We are never apart from that infinite being. So why do I get overwhelmed? When I am awake to my Christ nature, my bodhisattva nature, my sacred true self, awake to that presence within, when that is stirring inside, everything I do comes from love. But if I am slumbering, if I am numb, if I am adding to the suffering of the world by mindless expressions of fear and outrage, I am not centered in that infinite presence. That doesn't mean I have to ignore my fear. It does not mean I ignore the suffering of the world. But it means first I must come from love. How do I do that? How do we do that? What awakens in us the reminder that we're here to love, serve, and remember? So that we can hold that suffering that we see all around us, that we can hold it and not be consumed by the fire of it, but to let those fires remind us that the fire of Spirit is rising in us. That we come from love. An ancestry of love back and back and back and back, generations upon generations. And we stand in this present moment in love. Not love, as I often say, that is sentimental. Not love that is sugary and hearts and flowers, but love that asks us to dig deep, to forgive, to speak truth, even when it is uncomfortable, to hear truth back to us even when it is uncomfortable. How are we called to love? Those little slips of paper. Lamont, go ahead and put that next slide up. I'm going to invite you, if one of these prompts speaks to you this morning, that I'm going to hold the space for us and not fill your ears and heart with my words, but to let Spirit bubble up, rise up in you. Again, one, none, jump ship altogether. But what does your own sacred practice look like in the world we are co-creating? We hold a vision of the world transformed by love, by prayer, by service. So what does your own sacred practice look like in that world we're co-creating? Or maybe it's that line, I am becoming the kind of ancestor who. What kind of an ancestor do you want to be? Do you feel called to be? Or simply, why have you come to earth? You don't have to write a thing. You can just sit with those questions and let them wash over you. But if you want to jot, sketch, doodle, some way to allow Spirit's voice to bubble up in you while I hold the space in quiet for 4 minutes. Take another minute and wrap up whatever is still in your heart. And again, this is an invitation, but I invite you to take those papers home with you if you took a paper. Put it someplace where you can see what you wrote, where you can add to it if something else bubbles up from the voice in your heart. And then reach out. Reach out to me. Reach out to a friend, a trusted listener, and have a conversation. A conversation that helps you to remember those messages that the saints and sages and the sacred crones across all wisdom paths have taught. That we are interconnected, we are one. And when we come from that space of love, fear cannot take over. Fear can inform. Fear can activate that part of our brains that looks quickly for danger. It's there for a purpose. But every sacred tradition has sacred practices that help us tap in, to root in, to center in. And so I invite you in this next week to pay attention to how that is for you. And on this day where we may be remembering a great deal, here is a simple poem to close. I don't know the author, but it's simple, sacred practices that lend themselves to my heart today. So I offer them to you. On this day, mend a quarrel. Search out a forgotten friend. Dismiss suspicion and replace it with trust. Write a love letter. Share some treasures. Give a soft answer. Encourage youth. Manifest your loyalty in a word or deed. Keep a promise. Find the time. Forgo a grudge. Forgive an enemy. Listen. Apologize if you were wrong. Try to understand. Flout envy. Examine your demands on others. Think first of someone else. Appreciate, be kind, be gentle. Laugh a little more. Take up arms against malice. Decry complacency. Express your gratitude. Worship your God, the God of your understanding, the God beyond name, the God that is unnameable. Gladden the heart of a child or a friend, and take pleasure in the beauty and wonder of the earth. Speak your love. Speak it again. Speak it still again. Speak it still once again. And so it is. Amen.